Welcome to Eager Little Beavers.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Raising Them Right. I'm your host, Almaz, and today we'll be exploring effective strategies, share heartfelt stories, and also discuss the realities of parenting in today's world. We're diving into a realm, a challenge that many parents face every day, especially those with ADHD, the transition from relying on constant prompts to becoming self-starters, becoming more independent. This topic was inspired by a recent podcast that I listened to where hosts Mike and Ryan discussed a comment from a parent who had successfully helped their child make this shift. And I thought that what a powerful topic to explore and talk about in our podcast. Because let's face it, as parents, our kids ask us about absolutely every task and it can get exhausting. Our goal is to equip them, to give them the skills to take initiative and feel confident in their own independence. So what exactly is prompt independence, or as we say, prompt dependence? It happens when a child heavily relies on external cues like reminders from their parents, teachers, or caregivers to complete tasks. It's a common experience for children with ADHD because their executive functioning challenges makes it difficult for them to make their own decisions and initiate actions independently. This isn't about laziness, it's just that their brains are wired differently, and tasks may seem simple to us but are very, very exhausting for them. Think about it like this. Imagine you're driving a car for the very first time and there's someone that is constantly reminding you of every single action. Check your mirror, check your blind spot, signal, look both ways, slow down. It can get so exhausting, and you might rely on those cues in the beginning, but eventually you need to do it all on your own. The same applies to our kids. They need to develop the ability to navigate their own independence. Why does self-initiation matter? Now, it matters because in order to help children transition, we need to get them to self-initiate. Now, for one, it builds confidence. When children learn to take charge of their own actions and they feel a lot more capable, a lot more proud. It also fosters resilience. A child who knows how to start and complete tasks on their own is more likely to develop problem-solving skills, which are essential for lifelong success. And let's be honest, teaching kids to be more independent also takes some of the load off us. But the big question is, how do we get them there? There are heaps of practical strategies that will help your child to transition to the self-initiation stage. Now let's break this down to actionable steps. These are strategies that have worked for many parents, and now I'm sharing some of them with you. Obviously with some tweaks here and there. Number one, create visual and auditory cues. Instead of verbal reminders, or introduce checklists, charts, or visual schedules. Some kids really respond well to timers or alarms. These can serve as external cues without that direct parental involvement. Number two, for example, it could be like brush teeth, get dressed, pack your lunch. Each time they complete a task, they can check it off. Number two, use first then statements. Many kids with ADHD struggle with the transitions. Using first then language helps them to sequence their actions. Instead of saying, go clean your room, you could say, first, let's clean your room, and then we can have some playtime. This approach keeps expectations clear and manageable. Number three is make tasks feel rewarding. Children with ADHD thrive on immediate rewards. Setting up a reward system can really help them reinforce positive behaviors. Now, this doesn't mean giving them rewards at every step of the way, but small incentives like praise or high fives or even extra playtime can go a long way. Number four, teach self-monitoring. One of the most effective ways to promote independence is to teach kids to check their own work. Ask open-ended questions like, do you remember to brush your teeth? Or what's the next step in your routine? This encourages them to pause and reflect before seeking a prompt. Number five, gradually fade prompts. If your child is used to being reminded multiple times, don't go cold turkey. It's going to be really hard on them. Instead, slowly reduce the number of prompts. For example, if you usually remind them 5 times to put on their shoes, reduce it to 4, then 3, and so on. Eventually, they'll internalize the habit and it will just become innate to them. Number 6, encourage problem solving. Let's say your child forgets their homework at home. Instead of jumping in to solve the problem, ask, what do you think we can do this to fix this? Give them a chance to come up with solutions, strengthen their decision-making skills, and get them to solve the problem on their own. Number 7 is model self-initiation. Kids learn by watching us. We are literally their role models. If they see us making lists, setting reminders, or problem solving without frustration, they'll pick up on these habits too. Now, I know these strategies sound great in theory, but let's talk about real life examples of how they actually work. I recently spoke to a parent whose child had a hard time starting homework independently. They introduced a timer, 10 minutes of focus work, followed by a short break. Over time, the child built up to 20 to 30 minutes of focus work without prompts. It didn't happen overnight, but consistency is key. Another parent shared that using a color-coded calendar for daily activities helped their child anticipate what's coming next, or reducing the need for constant reminders. Now, what's the key takeaway? Small, consistent changes lead to long-term success. Now, let's really recap what we've covered today. Prompt dependence is common in children with ADHD, but with the right strategies, we can help them transition to self-initiation. Visual cues, positive reinforcement, self-monitoring, and problem-solving techniques are powerful tools to encourage independence. Most importantly, patience and consistency is key. You see, change won't happen overnight, but every small step counts. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you experienced this with your child? What strategies have worked with you? Send me a message or just simply comment below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in to Raising Them Right. And if you found this episode helpful, please do not forget to subscribe and share it with your friend who might benefit from it. Until next time, keep raising them right. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Remember to take care of yourself because you're worth it. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more interesting and informative parental support.